Okay, so let's get right into the dailies that we have today. And I'm going to begin with the daily graphic. And let me take you first of all through some headlines, all right? So we look at the daily graphic. We have Minerals Commission opens new office at Bibiani. And we have voters register brouhaha. Table audit demand at IPAC, Kodeo is saying. All right, it's a very important call. IPAC is the inter-party advisory committee where all the parties sit together in Jojo, so it's important that whatever challenges that the various parties may have, they do so at IPAC. High medication cost makes cancer a death sentence. Dr. Kome is speaking, and economy grows 6.9% for second quarter. Real GDP value is 45.21 billion Ghana cedis. So those are the headlines on the front page of the daily graphic. On the back page, we have empower and partner youth to end malaria. And hepatitis, unfortunately, claimed 15,000 lives in 2022. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, and this is talking about Ghana, not anywhere else, just Ghana. 15,000 lives lost to hepatitis. And yeah, the ABC, different versions of hepatitis. All right, let's go look at the Chronicle. So the Chronicle newspaper says, I'll install 50,000 anti-crime cameras across Ghana. Okay. CBG denies sale of the bank. Minerals Commission inaugurates new office at Bibiani. Nana Baumia achievement in the road sector is incomparable. And this is Asseso Boachi speaking there as the Minister of Roads and Highways. And the scripture for today, on the front page of the Chronicle, it says here, if a man vows a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. Numbers 30, verse 2. Numbers 30, verse 2. And that's a beautiful scripture there. If you vow a vow to the Lord, make sure you commit to it. Okay, so that's the Chronicle for you. Let's go to the Supreme newspaper next. And on the front page of the Supreme newspaper, it says here, Ghana takes bold step in digital education with AI-powered skills bank. Okay. We have Dr. Baumia's new kind of politics, a politics of issues, innovations, and ideas that offer bold solutions to advance democracy and drive socio-economic development. National Libation Day fiasco. Ada Adibiawe chief deceives organizers into trouble. Ada Adibiawe chief deceives organizers into trouble. Okay, that story is on page 3 of the Supreme newspaper. Ajiman Prempe intensifies campaign, receives warm support and welcome from traditional authorities. And we have the eldest female of Ni Ade Mpa Stool family challenges Court of Appeal decision, asserts position as head of family. So those are the headlines on the front page of the Supreme newspaper. Let's go to the New Republic. The New Republic says EC's IT agents MPP connections. Unraveling covert election cyber operations trail. Okay. From Galamsey to Gavel, MPP's Eko Ewusi implicated in new auction scandal. Wow. Guaso Hene accuses EC chair of concealing truth in voter register. And Ghana's pricey power plot, how Akufo-Addo's family feud ends in $170 million loss. The BNFT is the next paper. And We want to see a few headlines here. It says, government urged to act on rampant soft drink smuggling. Imagine that. People are taking soft drinks out of the country. With public health risk, much needed revenue lost. Public health at risk and much needed revenue lost. Reinvest Royalties campaign. It's a campaign called Reinvest Royalties. It gains momentum. All right. We have Labadi Beach Hotel is still setting the standards after 33 years. We have GSA shuts down company producing substandard mattresses. Okay. And economy up 6.9% in Q2 of 2024. All right, let's go to the Ghanaian Times. And on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have Minerals Commission set for efficient mining regulation. All right, as Lands Minister inaugurates another ultra-modern office at Bibiani. Okay, so this is all in efforts to decentralize operations nationwide. Now the 2024-2025 cocoa freight rate sees 5% increment. And we also have Health Minister touts government's health sector achievements, points to NHIS, Zipline, e-pharmacy, and others. All right, on the back page it says Second Lady inaugurates innovative kitchen stove for Nkranza Tech. All right, so those are some of the headlines we have here. And the 600,000 seedlings planted to restore degraded transitional zone forest. Okay, so those are the headlines on the front page and back page of the Ghanaian Times. Let's take a look at the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide newspaper says here, our roads record unparalleled Asenso Boache. Regarding the 2024 elections, Baumia pushes for ideas, not insults. Okay? CBG refutes sale rumors. We have Minister opens 16 public employment centers. Right, and health infrastructure investment remarkable. Okoboy is speaking there. Let me quickly give you just one more, and we'll delve into some stories. And on the front page of the Anchor newspaper, we have Baumia's solid mining policies attract miners. All right, as they converge at Akwetia this Friday to launch Miners for Baumia. Interesting. Very interesting. Minus for Baumia. Right. Demo at VRA office against merger with Bui Power Authority. And we have mining leases for FGR Bogoso Pristia Limited terminated. And responsible miners declare 60-day crackdown on galamseyers. So a very interesting thing happening in that space, right? And then government opens ultramodern Minerals Commission office at Bibiani. Now, to help me go through the stories in a little more detail, joining me on the set, bright as ever. You know how we write letters. You say, I write you today on the brightness of the morning, those type of secondary school letters and things. I want to do one of those this morning. She's here.
You're writing me a letter?
Yes.
Where is it? Where's your paper? Where's your pen?
No, it's digital.
Oh, you're typing?
It's digital. It's digital. Happy, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Super. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm liking the
Thank you.
The pink.
Charlie.
Are we getting ready for Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
Well, it's just around the corner.
Yeah. Well, looks like it.
Yeah, a few weeks away. So, but how are you though?
I'm well. I'm good.
That's good. Yeah. So lots of interesting things happening.
Yeah. Interesting things.
One of the ones that I really am curious about, and I'm just wondering why this position will be taken by an esteemed member of society and of leadership in Ghana, is the story about the Ojiahoho, president of the National House of Chiefs. But he says that those who are calling for a ban, must be careful. And I thought, interesting. Why is he concerned about a ban? But then he refers to the emoluments that people are making from the miners. But I think that's the challenge that we have. The fact that we are putting money over everything else.
You see, so this ban issue, and you know, we heard from the deputy lands minister,
Yes.
you know, last week,
Yes.
saying a similar thing, that it will have economic implications and whatnot. And I keep saying that, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
We don't live in these Galamsey
Communities, yeah.
so perhaps on some level, we don't really understand what people are going through. But one thing is clear. We understand the repercussions of what Galamsey has done and is doing
yes.
and will do
Yes.
to us
Yes.
if we
Yes.
don't put a stop to it.
Yes.
Now what we're saying is this. Yes, there may be many youth, many citizens who are making some good money, making a living off of Galamsey, but at what cost?
Yes.
Those, you know, hundreds of thousands, let's even say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah.
versus the 30 plus
Million of us.
Yeah. The implications, not just for today, but for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
And we've heard from, look, on Monday, we saw the marathon that we did here on
Yeah.
ChannelOne
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
All the different groups
Yeah.
that came to speak up against Galamsey. And most of them said, let's just do a ban for now.
Yes.
We understand that there's a level of mining,
Yeah.
small scale mining,
Yes.
that has always been central to community living in some of these spaces.
Yes.
But what we are saying is that for some reason, we've not been able
To police.
it.
Yeah.
And
True.
so people have taken it from small scale mining to medium scale. Now some people are doing the thing large
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
So since we've not been able to contain it as it's supposed to be, let's stop all
Altogether
for
for
now.
now. Yeah.
Come back to the table, see what needs to be, because clearly things have changed.
Yeah.
In the early 1900s, 1911, 1920, when people were doing small-scale mining, I keep referencing this, with their head pans,
Yeah.
you know, by the rivers, by the lakes and whatnot.
Yeah.
The game has changed.
Yeah.
Now people have access to the excavators and other, you know, all sorts of chemicals
Yeah.
that they are using to speed up the process
Yeah.
of the mining.
Yeah.
Now, if this is the case, then how have our metrics in terms of measuring what is good for the environment, what is good for the community
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
since that time?
Thank you.
So let's stop,
Yeah.
come back,
Reassess
assess
the
the
situation,
situation,
yeah.
and then see what we should classify as small-scale mining,
Yeah.
as illegal mining and
Yeah.
all that. And then now we know how to crack down on people, because
Yeah.
that's also part of the problem.
Yeah.
We've not known how to distinguish between the two, and so we are not cracking down hard
Yeah.
on those who are giving us the problems.
Well, you
it's
see,
as simple as that.
for
and I
me-
don't know why people cannot understand
Yeah.
this.
For me, let me just read this because people don't know exactly what he said. So I just want to read exactly what he said for us to understand what we're talking about here. Those calling, this is on ChannelOneNews.com, those calling for a ban on mining must be careful. National House of Chiefs President speaking. And this is what he says. Now, the President of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiahoho Yaojebi II, says calls for a total ban on mining should not be adhered to. Ojahoho Yao GB II says Ghana risks losing millions of dollars if mining is banned. Speaking at the commissioning of the new Minerals Commission office in the Western North region, Ojahoho Yao GB II said calls for a declaration of a state of emergency are also untenable. Then here's a quote. Please, those calling for a state of emergency and a ban on all forms of mining should be very careful. Do they know what we get from mining? All right, I want to emphasize that question he's asking. Do they know what we get from mining? We should ban it, and what happens to our children? We should come and stay home. These are important questions that he's asking that we should pay attention to. That this is how he thinks about the problem. All we are calling for is responsible mining, which is what we are also calling for. We are against illegal mining, which we are also against. We want responsible mining. Many associations and unions have called on the government to place a ban on all mining activities and declare a state of emergency against illegal mining. Organized labor has also given the government up to the end of September to declare a state of emergency against mining and a subsequent ban, or it embarks on a nationwide series of strikes. And of course, Channel One also organized a 6-hour campaign titled I Stand Against Galamsey on Monday, the 16th of September. Now, Abby, for me, it's a very simple issue. All we've said is we want people to be responsible in terms of the way they mine across the country. Simple and short. Now, mining in river bodies is not being responsible.
Right.
Mining in preserved forest reserves, it's not being responsible.
And wiping the forest
And wiping
out in the process.
the forest out, it's not being responsible, right? Where we find ourselves is a situation of COVID, where the problem we can see about to come to us is so dangerous and so dire that we need to put our foot down now and say, enough, stop everything. Let's retract. Let's take a look at what is going on. Let's figure out how we want to proceed as a nation, and then in bits and pieces we can release, mining licenses and all of those things again.
And now, you see, I can understand, the chief's, His Majesty's concerns. I can understand, because a lot of our youth in communities across the country, they don't have employment. And in somebody's mind, should they go and steal instead? Should they do things that would bring bigger disgrace to their families instead? But you see, that's a bigger conversation. And it's one of the, in history, we have what we call short-term causes and long-term causes, right? So when you look back into history, look at the World War II, for example, a short-term cause would have been, maybe Japan's seizure of Pearl Harbor, right? But a long-term cause would have been the injustice that Germany felt they were being dealt when the Treaty of Versailles was being signed in 1919 after the First World War. Look at the Second World War began when?
In the 40s.
Late 30s.
Late
38, right? Look at the years in between that, the decades. Now, one of the long-term causes of what we are experiencing now is the fact that we have not developed our country on an even level. Everything happens in Accra.
Yes.
Everything happens in Kumasi. Ports and oil took people to Takrady and Sekondi. But we've not been deliberate about our development.
The rest of the country,
For how long will we talk about, mechanizing farming and farming communities? For how long will we talk about now paying attention to proper irrigation systems so that when climate change hits us the way it does, we don't have droughts and we don't have floods in critical spaces that are food baskets of the country? For how long will we talk about fair trade? Where our governments, local governance, all the different aspects of the chain of governance should now be paying attention to what the farmer, what the fisherman, what all the people in the value chain as it exists will get. For how long will we be talking about the fact that we have reached a point as a country where the kinds of institutions we have cannot absorb every graduate? So we need to be looking at equipping our young people with entrepreneurial skills. Those things that we haven't done, that we've talked about for years, it's part of the reason why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. So we've said this before, you go to some of these Galamsey communities, particularly where the cocoa farms are and whatnot, and the mothers who are cocoa farmers will tell you that their children are selling off their cocoa lands.
They are.
Why? Because they were raised as Christian or Muslim. They were told, obey your parents. And when don't go here, come home. Don't go and play totas when you finish school. Come home, go to school. Don't play truant. Now, some of them, over time, have managed to even get into university. Some on scholarships, others through the hard work of their parents or the benevolence of a family member or community member, right? Now they finish school and there's nothing to do. So they're asking themselves, after all this, am I going back to the poverty that I was born into? Lie, I'll not do it. So if there's something that looks like it can give me a good livelihood, like I'm seeing on social media, like I'm watching on
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
like I'm seeing in movies, like I'm hearing about
Yeah.
them, me too,
I
I will
want
do
some
the
of it. I
galamsey.
want some of it.
So I beg His Majesty to come again.
Yeah.
It is not just about the galamsey as we're seeing it now, the mining conversation as
Yeah.
we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
There are many layers to it, and we cannot say that because people need jobs to do and people need to eat, we
Yeah.
should allow them to do things that will cost the rest of us
True.
in the present and in the future.
True. True. You know, do you have any other stories you want
Yes,
to
I mean,
go
galamsey
into?
has got us riled
Yeah.
up. But the Daily Graphic is here. Minerals Commission opens new office at Bibiani. And I mean, that's
You
pretty
wanna delve into it?
exciting. Pretty exciting. Voter register brouhaha. Table audit demand at IPAC, says Codeo. And now in Codeo, that's the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers speak, then
I think
you need
we
to...
want to. Do you want to
so
get
we
into
should
that story?
a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah.
Okay. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, says the petition for a forensic audit of the voters' register being demanded by the National Democratic Congress, NDC, must be tabled at an inter-party advisory committee, IPAC meeting,
Yeah.
for the input of other parties and stakeholders on the matter. Governance expert Professor Bafo Adjumandua has also called for dialogue to resolve the issues that led to last Tuesday's regional-based simultaneous street protest by the main opposition party, suggesting that a third-party audit could be explored,
Okay.
while a political scientist, Dr. Samuel Kofi Dakwa, said the NDC's concerns were valid and that a forensic audit would ensure the reliability of the register. So Codeo believes that the forum, this is a quote,
Yeah.
Codeo believes that the forum for this issue now should be at IPAC so that it will involve maybe the political parties, the CSOs as the civil society organizations,
yeah.
and other organizations so that it will have a broad perspective,
Yeah.
the election observer body said.
Wow.
And you know, Codeo, I'm happy that they've spoken because you know when the polls are running, they are there or they're on the
Yeah,
ground.
on the ground,
And they see the kind of turmoil that could come if we don't address this
Yeah.
issue. If you have your leading opposition party raising concerns about the voters' register, we have elections coming up in just a couple of months and we need to address it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's some people have said, oh, it's propaganda. You know, NDC is just doing politics. But at least let's address it
I think
and
so. It's so
identify
important.
that
Yeah.
really it is propaganda
Yeah.
or really they are playing
Yeah.
politics with the
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
But to ignore the fact that people have hit the streets to demonstrate, people have expressed concern
Yeah.
about it, and then carry those sentiments to the polls on the 7th of December.
Yeah, it's
That's
only
not, look, we are not willing to
belittle-
sacrifice our
Yeah,
peace. So.
it's true.
And let's understand that there are little things that sometimes we need to suck up our pride, you know, things,
that.
yeah, suck up our pride.
Yeah.
And then things that we feel that, oh, you know, these people are being some way
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Sometimes, especially if you feel like they have no case, let's just address
Address it, yeah.
so that everybody
It's
comes
okay,
with a cool
yeah,
head.
yeah.
As for our peace, we will
We
not
won't
sacrifice it.
Yeah, thank you. I like that. And on that note, as for peace, we will not sacrifice it. Thank you very much, Happy. Thank you very much. All right. Well, sports is next.